the Republicans have a stranglehold on political violence. And I would really, really love, it's not going to happen, I would love for Biden to fucking wake up during the next goddamn debate and bring this to light and say, hey, what happened was very scary, and I'm glad you're alive, etc. You can do whatever conciliatory statements that you would like to preamble this, but also say, don't you think that this could be a byproduct of your violent rhetoric over your presidency before, during, and after? I think the more appropriate response would be to give it a few days. He already had that little 2-minute, I'm not taking questions press briefing yesterday, where he essentially said the same thing. There's no place for violence in America, etc. But I think, give it a little time to fester, and instead of ceding ground like the Dems are doing right now, be the stronger candidate and say, yeah, well, this is what happens when you predicate your political campaign off violent rhetoric. That would be the more appropriate response. If you want to do the whole, there's no place for violence in America, that's how you do it. I should preface this a little bit. Some funky stuff happened yesterday. I'm tired of living in unprecedented times. Somebody shot at Trump. I felt like I was every single other news pundit, just kind of scrambling for words while not having any information to work off of, while also having the responsibility to have the fear and pray, please, dear God, let this not be one of us. Let this not be one of our guys. And thankfully, it seems like the person that shot at Trump was just some apolitical schizo white boy. Whew, dodged a bullet there. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be framed as this person was a leftist. And look at what political violence is doing. I think it's very, very funny that this is coming from the crowd that has a political stranglehold, has a stranglehold over political violence. We'll get to that in a little bit. But yes, it has come out. So this guy is kind of all over the place. He was I believe, registered Democrat up till I think about the time when Bernie Sanders came out. That video that we started stream with of the guy that's just kind of bouncing around all ideologies. It's essentially this. It's essentially this guy. Started out as a registered Democrat. Bernie dropped out. And in 2021, I believe he made a $15 contribution to some progressive cause, neither here nor there, or some progressive PAC or something like that. Now, don't get me wrong, that is going to be used against him. This is before he registered as a Republican. Right after that, in 2021, this is surely going to be used against him. I think he's just an apolitical nut job. That's it. There's no shortage of examples of right-wing lunatics that we can look at who have caused insert tragedy here. Not that I see yesterday as a tragedy, which we will also get to here very shortly. So, kind of breaking down what happened, he was 400 feet away on like climbing up the rafters to this position. Let me see if I can find a little map for us real quick. Yeah, here we go. CBS News. Thank you. I thought I was going to have to dig for this a little bit more. Okay, so everyone was here, right? 400 feet away. There were people pointing to this kid, this 20-year-old kid, climbing up here, right? And just with a little rifle. With what looks like no scope, by the way. He was using his fucking iron sights. Probably why he missed. 400 feet away. This question's been repeated no shortage of times, and if I remember correctly, I think there's an ongoing internal investigation or independent investigation started by Brandon himself into the Secret Service. I have no idea how this wasn't cleared. That is insane. There were TMZ reporters who were getting photos of the shooter well before the Secret Service did anything. People were pointing at the gunman and saying hey, there's a guy with a gun on that roof. and they did nothing. I have no idea. Complete ineptitude. That being said, the usual suspects are already saying this is the product of DEI. There were DEI Secret Service members and all that. Usual suspects trying really hard not to say the N-word. Anyway, so potentially a Republican, apolitical, just kind of bounces all over the place. We can't really make it neither here nor there, but he's definitely not a leftist, from what we can tell, from what we can gather. There was, let me see if I can find this, actually. I did see this yesterday. There was an interview with a classmate. Yeah. There was an interview with a former classmate of the shooter, and from what I remember, I think he was just like a bullied, ugly kid, as it goes. It's kind of like the backbone of finding yourself in a fascist movement is you are socially ostracized, and you find yourself in these very kind of like extreme environments. You find yourself being fucking radicalized on 4chan, right? You live a very lonely, solitary life, and the people that have answers for you, well, it's the kind of people found on 4chan.
We've been here. There's a large media presence here. You've had members of the community come and approach us, including one person who said he actually went to high school with this suspected shooter. I want you to listen to a little bit of our conversation there.
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
He would sit alone at lunch. He was just an outcast, and you know how kids are now.
You're so young, dude. I think it's funny that this kid's the one saying kid, but seriously. He was 20, if I remember correctly. The shooter was 20. Can't even buy alcohol. Can't buy cigarettes in my state even.
Nowadays, so they're going to see someone like that and they're going to target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it.
Motive unclear in Trump assassination attempt. I'm really wondering what was the motive with this person that got up on a roof with a gun and pointed said gun in the direction of Trump and took a shot. I wonder what that motive is.
And it's honestly kind of sad. I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Yeah. You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but he was just bullied. He was bullied so much.
This was high school.
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
Yeah. I think, look, I don't want to be too mean. Can I find a picture of him? There's some very grotesque pictures of him. There was this guy going around on Twitter yesterday. Yeah, this guy. So this is a picture of him, right? This was Thomas Matthew Crooks over here. This guy on the right was just some fucking poster. We love our posters. Just some poster on fucking Twitter. Who was doing the "This is MAGA country" type beat kind of thing, except it was I hate Trump. I'm a leftist who hates Trump. Oh God, so many people took this and ran with it. He does kind of bear a resemblance. This is actually him. This is not him. This is just a poster on Twitter. Yeah. The guy was wearing what is it? The Demolition Ranch shirt. They've been getting in hot water for that too. Oh no, not one of us. Very, very unsurprising that this right inevitably, let's be so for fucking real. This right-leaning gun YouTube channel, but I repeat myself. Wild that one of their radicalized viewers would do something like this. I think they had some statements on Facebook and Reddit or whatever. I don't think that they've have they, hold on. Let me see if I can find. Did they post anything on Twitter? Oh, hey, Soaked on Left has a little handy-dandy timeline instead of me just blabbering over myself. January 2021, 17 years old, donates to a progressive PAC. October 21, at 18, when you are able to vote, he registers as Republican. Voted as a Republican at 19. And then where we're at today. Wearing a right-wing gun YouTuber shirt. This is not... This is... Oh, Soaked on Left, you fell for the bit. This is not him. There was an officer, I believe, that saw him. You know, a professional streamer would have all these links pulled up already. Also, a professional streamer would have people in chat right now sending them links. You guys are failing me. There was an officer that saw him and just kind of let him, I don't know, like saw that he had a gun and didn't do anything. Am I tripping? I could have sworn that I had read that earlier today. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Thank you, the New York Post. Local cop confronted would-be Trump assassin Thomas Matthew Crooks on roof moments before he opened fire, but failed to stop him. A local cop spotted everybody, but the Secret Service was on it. I am genuinely gobsmacked by the absolute ineptitude. It's insane. We have all this security theater and performative security theater when we have to take off our fucking shoes at the airport. You know how many terrorist attacks have been stopped because of the TSA? Big old goose egg. Zip. Nothing. Okay? But this person gets on a roof 400 feet away from the former president. Insane. Absolutely insane. Anyway, local cops spotted attempted assassin Thomas Crooks. You left out the middle name. The middle name is so important. They always have 3 names, okay? Just moments before he tried to kill former President Donald Trump, but failed to stop the gunman despite that clear threat, according to a report. After rallygoers spotted Crooks on the roof of a manufacturing plant just 130 yards from the state. Wait, was it 130 or 400? Or did he move positions? Did he move tactical positions? Shooting with his fucking iron sights. After rallygoers spotted Crooks on a roof of a manufacturing plant just 130 yards from the stage where Trump was speaking just after 6 p.m. Tuesday, police were notified and one officer climbed a ladder to investigate. Law enforcement officials told the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity. The officer whose department had been enlisted by the Secret Service to help with security. Okay, well, they maybe kind of removed. There was a little bit of competency. Encountered Crooks who pointed his AR-style rifle at them. Yes, gets a gun pointed at you. Yeah, very good point. Good salient point. Please go about your day. By the way, ads are starting in 5 minutes. You know the whole ordeal. Subscribe with Amazon Prime, etc. if you'd like. And just be chuffed. Wow, wild. Okay. Genuine ineptitude from the Secret Service. I am absolutely gobsmacked. In light of the recent events, of course you have the usual suspects trying to pin this on the left. When we were in that kind of amorphous area of misinformation being thrown left and right, I was, and everyone was really fucking hoping and praying that this wouldn't just be like one of our guys. But I said yesterday that it doesn't really matter if it is or not. What this is going to do, inevitably, is it is going to be pinned on the left. I think worst case scenario, and I'm counting my lucky stars right now, counting our collective lucky stars, comrades, etc. That this person isn't a vocal leftist, that this isn't like, let's be real, okay, This isn't someone in like some historically marginalized group. This isn't, some blue hair, pronouns, etc. Thank fuck. Oh my God. But either way, this is going to be pinned on the left. Now, the narrative that's coming out right now from officials on the right saying that this is a logical extreme of the left's violent rhetoric, I think is really silly. I don't think that that's going to hold if we're going to be so for real. The right kind of has this idea of like the Biden or Buster, the right-in with Bidens, right? Who are also like very antagonistic, and even though they're snowflakes, etc., they are also very tough revolutionaries, and the soft, strong boy Antifa soldier kind of shit, right? These people don't exist. Your Biden dick rider is not going to be the one that's going out and doing this, I guarantee you. What this is a product of is maybe the person espousing fascist rhetoric on a constant basis. Maybe this is the logical extreme of that rhetoric of maybe some years prior to where we're at today, calling for the hanging of your current sitting vice president. I think maybe you get that coming to you, maybe just a little bit. I would also, I can't feel bad. I can't feel bad. Okay. Moments before the event took place, the event, which motives are unclear, right? Very, very murky territory. Moments before that, Trump was talking about locking up and just putting people in camps, right? Like immigrants and people with, mental disabilities and everything, just putting them in camps. So again, pardon me if this comes across as harsh to anybody, but I genuinely don't care. Unfortunately, the effects that this is going to have on the election are immeasurable. I think at this point it is all but locked for Trump at this point. Biden's cognitive decline was already the death knell. That being in constant circulation in the news, while Trump, who's normally doing this, learned to do this and shut the fuck up and just have all of the momentum, all of the current political conversations going on right now be on, can this demented old man hold enough water during the campaign and after, assuming that he wins for whatever reason. And when those documents were released about Trump, hey, maybe that's why old boy Tommy did this, right? He found out which island Trump liked to frequent. After those like genuinely horrifying documents came out about Trump, may I remind everybody, raping a 13-year-old, Trump picked a very good time, a very good fucking time to shut up and let the media do its thing. Anyway, man had principles is all I'm saying. The shooter, of course. Maybe some right-wing schizo that really does actually like genuinely hate pedophiles. That would be cool. Anyway, so the effects on the election, the upcoming election, right? Already it was going to be called for Biden. But at this point, especially with the optics of the photo you've all seen, I'll pull it up again. Oh, God. Genuinely going to be in a fucking history book. This shit. It's so over. Look. It's so over. It's too good. It's too good. I hate him. It doesn't make me want to vote for him, don't get me wrong. It doesn't excuse any of the disgusting shit that he says. I don't feel bad for him in the slightest at all. Of course, that narrative is coming out, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But that's it. That's it. It's a lock. It's a lock at this point. The Democrats do not have that kind of energy. We talked a little bit about further implications outside of the election. During the election, let's talk about that first. Will this spark copycat shooters? Probably. Maybe. I would hope not. Ammo prices are certainly going to increase here very soon. I mean, it's normally during election cycles, very scary. People are already on edge. The amount of people who are like, I'm gonna move or I'm gonna shoot somebody. Every 4 years, every 4 fucking years, it's the same thing. But now especially, oof. My dad was texting me yesterday and was like, "Hey, like, watch your six, like, be careful out there." And honestly, like, I feel like I'm fine. Me passing in the streets, I've got a beard and an undercut or a fade or whatever. I'll be fine. Okay, I can pass. What I'm more so worried about is honestly like the people in the middle of fucking nowhere, who sit and are inundated by Fox News and Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones and just live off that, and they just get that constant drip feed of Fox News, right? And it fucks with your brain. Like it makes you psychopathic. It makes you goddamn schizophrenic. I worry about these people and their mental faculties, and let's be so fucking real, what they might do with this heightened, political atmosphere right now. So will this spark copycat shooters? Maybe, potentially, on both sides, I'm sure. Both sides, right? Potentially. What does this mean for politics moving forward? Ooh, boy. I was genuinely worried for a minute that we might see, and I still am, genuinely concerned that we will be seeing like a McCarthyism Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Oh, especially if, and let's be real, when Trump wins, right? You're telling me that he's not going to take this and run with it? Are you kidding me? This is all we're going to be hearing about for like the next, not only few months, this is going to be his entire presidency. There will be a crackdown on leftists, again, like we saw in the 20s, like we saw during the civil rights movement. I guarantee you, if anything, perfect for what the Dems want to. Hey, your standard right-leaning Democrat who's tired of these uppity voters and revolutionary voices, calling for such radical things as an end to genocide. People who aren't too happy with the people who are funding these campaigns and these politicians, right? How do we silence them? Ooh. We have our answer. It just appeared to us. The Dems and the Republicans are like this right now. I guarantee you, we're seeing it now already within not just punditry, but also within the Democrats as well, as we were going to talk about. Feel like this is a nice segue. The Dems are already doing their "this is no time for violence." Let's be nice to the soft boy, the soft baby bean who was shot at, right? Trump's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. Doesn't have glasses, but you wouldn't shoot at a little guy, would you? Meanwhile, again, it's the Republicans have a stranglehold on political violence. And I would really, really love, it's not going to happen, I would love for Biden to fucking wake up during the next goddamn debate and bring this to light and say, hey, what happened was very scary, and I'm glad you're alive, etc. You can do whatever conciliatory statements that you would like to preamble this, but also say, don't you think that this could be a byproduct of your violent rhetoric over your presidency before, during, and after? I mean, we've seen it in Charlottesville. Just today, was it in Philadelphia? There was a little Nazi march, like open and about. However, these are not the people, the cops will be marching alongside to protect their free speech. Having grown up in Austin, I'd seen that no shortage of times when I was organizing with the IWW and the SRA and some food pantries and everything. Oh my God, working with food pantries and food banks, we had to go through this whole bureaucratic process to pass out supplies and food during heat waves or cold snaps in goddamn Texas, right? When power is off for 2 weeks. We're protesting to end a genocide abroad. And that gets cracked down on. And they'll bring in less than lethal munition to snipe some goddamn kids with a fucking beanbag round from 3 blocks down the way. Happened to a classmate's younger brother of mine, or a classmate of mine's younger brother. That's how you know I'm a Biden supporter, because I got nothing going on up here. I too got the brain worms from time to time. After the gym, I'm just head empty, no thoughts, just here to look hot. But all of this will be cracked down on, right? The things that, you know, we're getting into murky territory with what's good, what's not good. To me, what's good, right? And then you have the other side. There was a fucking KKK rally, and the cops were marching alongside and protecting them. Disgusting. Genuinely disgusting. Can't say that I'm surprised. So what this is going to mean is that there will be a further crackdown on democratic socialists, even. The progress that we have seen within, I'll just broadly say, the progressive movement. I am a leftist, I am a communist, I'm a socialist, whatever. A majority of Americans aren't. A majority of Americans do want common sense, progressive legislation, though. And the momentum that we had seen on that front, over. It's over. And honestly, I think it would be worse if the guy did actually get Trump using his fucking iron sights. It would be so much worse, unquestionably. So count our lucky stars there. But having, like, I mentioned this yesterday, having a DSA endorsement now, awful. Why? Why would I, you know, Barbara in this outskirts town in California, who has a democratic socialist running for, I don't know, the local mayoral or DA seat, why would I vote for them, you know? Why would I even look over their policies? Because all I hear on the news is that, you know, these radical leftists are the ones going out and murking presidents. Now, again, it's not. That's not how it shakes out, and that's not what happened. But that is going to be the narrative. And I feel like this is a really good end now. Democrats smell what's in the fucking water, and they're going to shift that narrative. The Democrats will inevitably push further right a lot more rapidly than they have been. And I think that's being discounted right now. Already there are calls for, I do genuinely think that, like, Democrats will be like, oh, well, now we have to show up and vote for Trump because he was shot at, and, you know, we got to be reconciliatory of that. And they can't be for fucking real. And say, like, this is the cause of your violent rhetoric, right? David Dupipi, do y'all remember? Dupipi? The guy who swung, might I remind everybody, with a hammer. Let's roll this back a little bit. David Dupipi went to Nancy Pelosi's house hoping that she was there so that he could beat her to death with a hammer, except she wasn't there. Or he wanted to, like, kidnap her or something. She wasn't there, so instead what he did was almost beat her husband to death with a hammer. And do you know what the response from the right to that act of political violence was? It was fucking mockery. Donald Trump Jr. like got on Twitter and was like, "Oh, here's my costume," and it was like the underwear and the hammer that the guy like had. He had like the underwear on and the hammer or whatever. People were like, "Oh, this is this is Paul Pelosi's gay lover." Maybe we should all be asking the real questions right now. Is old boy Tommy really a lover of Trump? He does like them young, after all. Was there let me see if I can pull up Trump's response. Yeah, as Nancy Pelosi is saying, I thank God that former President Trump is safe. Meanwhile, if I remember correctly, I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, wait, maybe. Hold on. Politico? Trump mocks Pelosi's family as he rallies conservative support in California. Yeah. We'll stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing? Does anyone know? And she's building a wall at our border, and she's against building a wall at our border, even though she has a small wall around her house, which obviously didn't do a very good job. Right. So this was the response, your standard response from Republicans, right? Not saying that the Democrats are the ones that need to like come out right now and say some gross shit, even though I think it would be funny. They're not going to. But the crowd on the right is saying that, oh, this is a direct result of Biden's violent rhetoric, of Pelosi's violent rhetoric. That narrative is not going to hold any water, like even amongst Republicans. Are you kidding me? What violent rhetoric of Biden's? And we defeated Medicare, and that like awoke the sleeper agent, right? The Manchurian candidate. It awoke the sleeper cell. Yeah, the right combination of words woke him up. I'm not going to be able to find it. There was a Forbes article where they were saying that this is going to help with Trump's black vote because he was shot at just like Tupac was shot at or something like that, or like 50 Cent was shot at or like some shit like that. Oh, God. Classic. Thanks, Forbes. Anyway, so Biden, old boy Brandon, has awoken and address the country, and I thought that we would go through it together. I wanted to go over this live, but I was too busy getting yoked. It was leg day, and we do not skip leg day in this house, boys, do we? Anyway, I thought we would go over it. I have not watched this yet. You're probably gonna have to just skip right. Yep. Okay, here we go. Biden. Oh, that quality is fucking terrible. Can we fix this up a little bit?
President live now from the Oval Office in the White House.
I want to speak to you tonight about the need for us to lower the temperature in our politics. And to remember, while we may disagree, we are not enemies. We're neighbors.
I hate this. No, these people pose a genuine existential threat. Hey, what's up, buddy? Welcome back. Celebration aside, welcome back. These people do genuinely pose an existential threat. I mean, the Republicans pose an existential, not just existential, very real. They want you dead. If anything, on the climate crisis alone, will kill millions, if not billions. The world is burning if we have a world in the next 10 to 15 years, and Republican legislation and their voters who are clapping like goddamn seals at their climate change is fake narrative, they will be directly responsible for the millions dead. They are absolutely our enemies. Now, am I saying that people should go out and start murking political candidates? Absolutely not. I would I can't joke, okay? Seriously. That's not what I'm calling for at all. But to make these conciliatory statements of, oh, like these people we're just having some like silly little like thumb wars in the playground right now. Like that's the extent of our disagreements. It's foolish. It is blithely foolish. It is irresponsibly misguided.
We're friends, co-workers, citizens, and most importantly, we're a fellow American.
Oh, it's so quiet. Leftist audio.
We must stand together. Yesterday's shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania calls on all of us to take a step back. Take stock of where we are, how we go forward from here.
Might I remind everybody, moments before the shooting, Trump was talking about putting people in fucking camps, okay? Yeah, you can take a step back, Brandon. I'm sure that the Trump campaign loves that. I'm sure, as demented as he is right now, and given his past statements about I'm going to stay in the race, firstly, I don't think it needs to be said, should absolutely drop out, especially at this point. Like, it's fucking over. But I think he smells what's in the water. Like, he knows it's over.
Thankfully, former Trump is not seriously injured. I spoke with him last night. I'm grateful. He's doing well, and Jill and I
made it 15
keep
seconds
him and his
in.
family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victims who was killed. Corey was a husband, a father, a volunteer firefighter, a hero.
No. Oh, they're talking about the guy. The guy was insane. Let me see if I can find him. He's talking about the guy. And this dude was insane. Yeah, Corey Compatore? Oh god. Yeah, and nobody cares about him. Like I'm sorry, genuinely no one cares about this random goer that was be so for fucking real with me. Nobody cares. Yeah, going to it's one thing to be like a voter, a Republican voter, a Trump voter or whatever, but if you were going out of your way and following a fucking political candidate like on tour like they're a band, if you're going to a Trump rally, also let's be for fucking real, I think it's a little bit different if like you're showing up for Bernie or whatever. It's like, yeah, we want healthcare, versus if you're going to a Trump rally and it's like, oh yeah, they're all Mexicans are rapists and murderers, and they're shipping them over and putting drugs in our street. I think that's a little bit different, right? Where was did they take his Twitter account down? There were like Twitter posts, and this guy was just like dick eating the Republicans leading up to usual suspect kind of shit. Just as unhinged as you would imagine this person is. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I am struggling to remain empathetic. Maybe to his family, that kind of sucks, but nothing of value was lost.
Sheltering his family from those bullets. We should
they were there too. Okay, so I don't feel bad for his
family and all those injured in our prayers. Earlier today, I spoke about an ongoing investigation. We do not know the motive of the shooter yet.
It
remains ambiguous. We
don't know
his opinions or affiliations.
It's just kind of a apolitical, schizophrenic white boy from what it looked like, right? He's kind of all over the place. I mean, let's be real. He was bullied in high school and wanted the narrative to be about him. I mean, that was the same thing with Lee Harvey Oswald, right? Like, he was a fucking loser. They always have three names. They always have three fucking names. Lee Harvey Oswald wanted the narrative to be about him. He did it for the fame. He did it for fame.
We don't know whether he had help or support or if he communicated with anyone else. Law enforcement professionals, as I speak, are investigating those questions. Tonight, I want to speak to what we do know. A former president was shot, an American citizen killed, while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing.
Oh, God. This narrative, like Trump's just a small bean. He's a small bean, and they were exercising their freedoms. Dude raped a 13-year-old and is like, I'd say convicted felon, but I mean, all that shit's kind of going by the wayside at this point, right? Like, and again, like, we need to be real about, it's like, okay, sure, this is a tragedy, and I can't believe that this would happen or whatever, but also, again, this is the logical extreme of the better part of a decade of violent rhetoric. Like, this is what happens.
We cannot, we must not go down this road in America. We've traveled it before throughout our history. Violence has never been the answer. Whether it's with members of Congress of both parties being targeted and shot, or a violent mob attacking the Capitol on January 6th, or a brutal attack on the spouse of former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or information...
Sorry, did I just get a notification that somebody was calling me on Twitch? What? Okay.
And intimidation on election officials, or the kidnapping plot against the sitting governor, or an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. There is no place in America for this kind of violence, or for any violence ever.
Except for, yeah, the country predicated upon violence that is currently allowing a genocide. There's no place for that in America. We save that. We save the violence for the other countries that we... God damn it. Yeah, the country that, the better part of 4 years ago now, had seen of what was, let's be for real, a violent, silly, but still violent attempted an insurrection. Trump's stand back and stand by to the Proud Boys. Yeah, no place for violence. Weird that these calls are only coming from the Democrats to Republicans and not the other way around. Do you think your average or like your go-to like Fox inundated, like Alex Jones inundated Republican voter? Oh yeah, I bet they have never wished death upon a political candidate. Never. Famously, Republicans have never called for threats of violence against a political candidate or a political party. Never.
Period. No exceptions. We can't allow this violence to be normalized. The political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. We all have a responsibility.
It's time to cool it down, Jack.
Yes, we have deeply felt strong disagreements. The stakes in this election are enormously high. I've said it many times that the choice in this election we make in this election is going to shape the future
he's
of
fading.
America
He got a minute
and the
in.
world for decades to come.
He got a minute in. I can't.
America and the world for decades to come. I believe that with all my soul. I know that millions of my fellow Americans believe it as well. And some have a different view as to the direction our country should take. Disagreement is inevitable in American democracy. It's part of human nature.
Look, I'm going to be for real. The path forward with America is a peaceful one. When will that happen? Probably not for another 100 or so years. And I'm sure that if I was alive to see that, I'd be eating my words. As in, it's not happening. No part of the political diaspora or conversation right now has a peaceful solution to it when the other side is inherently fascist and is calling for violence and is calling for people to be locked up in camps. At least, Trump fucking sent in goddamn like SEAL Team 6 to murk a guy in Portland during the protests and then bragged about it the next day on stage. Let's be so for fucking real. This is not. Again, I'm not saying that people should go out and start murking candidates, but I will say that there isn't necessarily a peaceful solution. You're not going to sit down with the other side and come to a solution through logical talks. It is going to take a little bit more sweat and some nasty words is what I'm saying.
But politics must never be a literal battlefield, and God forbid, a killing field. I believe politics ought to be an arena for peaceful debate, to pursue justice,
He's a
to make
debate
decisions
bro.
Guided by the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution.
I really can't vote for Biden now. He's a fucking debate bro. He started watching Destiny. Well, I've seen some shit. We'll look at that on Twitter. I think I saw that the little guy had some takes that were funny. His audience is like shifted so massively to the right, especially after having the likes of like Lauren Southern and shit on, that when he kind of says some things that kind of audience would not be happy about, considering or regarding yesterday. Yeah, it's a little look in the mirror. Ideally, I think he's a little bit too far gone. We'll look at that.
We stand for an America, not of extremism and fury, but of decency and grace. All of us now face the time of testing as the election approaches. And the higher the stakes, the more fervent the passion will become. This places an added burden on each of us to ensure that no matter how strong our convictions, we must never descend into violence. The Republican convention will start tomorrow. I have no doubt that.
Oh God, it's so over. The RNC is tomorrow. It's so over. What's the guy? What's the fucking guy? JD Vance, who's probably gonna be this ghoul. Look, I'm over here now. This ghoul is probably gonna be the one who's God, he's 39. Oof. Yeah, this is probably gonna be the vice president, and was just openly blaming Biden for yesterday, even though, again, might I remind everybody, this was an act from just a schizophrenic, apolitical white boy who was bullied in high school. Like, anyway, back to it, right?
They'll criticize my record and offer their own vision for this country. I'll be traveling this week making the case for our record and the vision, my vision of the country, our vision. I'll continue to speak out strongly for our democracy, stand up for our Constitution.
This wet noodle response.
To call for action at the ballot box. No violence on our streets. That's how democracy should work.
That was a little
We
Batman
debate
voice.
and disagree. We compare and contrast the character of the candidates, the records, the issues, the agenda, the vision.
Tanya,
for
howdy,
America.
how we doing? We're going over the silly events that happened yesterday. Hope you're doing well.
But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box.
Battle box,
No,
yeah. Oh, God. Dude, it's so over. I'm sorry. He's too demented. The aura yesterday with Trump was too good. You are personally doing well. I'm happy to hear, despite things, that you are doing well. Christ alive. Yeah, and this is the most wet, limp. Like, I think the more appropriate response would be to give it a few days. He already had that little 2-minute I'm not taking questions press briefing yesterday, where he essentially said the same thing. There's no place for violence in America, etc. But I think give it a little time to fester, and instead of ceding ground like the Dems are doing right now, be the stronger candidate and say, yeah, well, this is what happens when you predicate your political campaign off violent rhetoric. That would be the more appropriate response. If you want to do the whole there's no place for violence in America, that's how you do it.
That's how we do it at the battle box, not
Battle
the bullets.
box.
The power to change America should always rest
The
in
battle
the hands
box.
of the people, not in the hands of would-be assassin. The path forward through competing visions of the campaign should always be resolved peacefully, not through acts of violence. We're blessed to live in the greatest country on earth, and I believe that with every soul.
There was I'm gonna keep fucking pausing this. You know what? I'm glad I didn't do this live. Okay, typical YouTuber shit. Pausing every fucking 10 seconds. The Supreme Court ruling that overturned Trump's charges or whatever on the grounds of it being a presidential action, and the dissenting opinion said, oh hey, this is bad because essentially a president can murk their opponent and say it's a presidential action. Now, I'm not saying Biden has the ability to do the funniest thing right now. I'm just we're not Fed posting here. I just started streaming again. I would like to keep this channel up. But I mean, in any other position, Trump has used and will inevitably use his position as a president to enact violence. It's going to be against his political opposition. It's going to be against the constituents as well. Again, we are going to be seeing a Red Scare Part 2, a McCarthyism Part 2. This is a man who, again, has openly bragged about sending in unmarked cars and unmarked feds to fucking murk a guy, to riddle a guy with fucking bullets in Portland during the protests. Just mowed him down in the middle of this residential. Anyway.
Every power of my being. So tonight, I'm asking every American to recommit, to make America.
He's going to say, make America great again. Yeah, with his Vice President Trump. The AI articles coming out of this on Twitter were fantastic. I think I saw one that was Vice President Harris shot. So funny.
What's made America so special? Here in America, everyone must be treated with dignity and respect, and hate must have no safe harbor. Here in America, we need to get out of our silos, where we only listen to those with whom we agree, where misinformation is rampant, where foreign actors fan the flames of our division. I
don't understand which political party this man is talking to right now. Genuinely have no idea. Dollar Bill is welcome. I don't know who his audience is with this. Like, we haven't seen like 4 years under Trump, leading up the year or so leading up to Trump. Y'all remember that fun little pre-Trump era when we were seeing the re-rise of Nazis, of just open fucking Nazis, of goddamn Richard Spencer, that whole like era of like Trump coming up, and now we have what I will generously say at least 50% of a constituency of a political party that will just readily and openly send people to camps if they could. Yeah, violence has no place in politics in America except for all the times when the party that has a goddamn stranglehold on political violence is enacting that violence. Then it's okay. It flabbergasts me. I'm gobsmacked even. Wake up, Brandon.
The outcomes consistent with their interests, not ours. Let's remember, here in America, while unity is the most elusive of goals right now, nothing is more important for us now than standing together. We can do this.
We need to stand together and vote for Trump. Jesus.
Our founders understood the power of passion. So they created a democracy that gave reason and balance a chance to prevail over brute force.
Yeah, the founding fathers that said that if you're not
be.
white, you're not a person.
In American democracy, where arguments
if you're
are
not
made
a white
in good
man
faith.
landowner.
In American democracy, where the rule of law is respected. In American democracy, where decency, dignity, fair play aren't just quaint notions, but living, breathing realities. We owe that to those who come before us, to those who gave their lives for this country. We owe that to ourselves. We owe it to our children and our grandchildren. Look, let's never lose sight of who we are. Let's remember we are the United States of America.
What is this bedtime story? There's such a limp spine, wet noodle of a spine response to this. I've got nothing. Ads are starting in 5 minutes, by the way. If you no longer want to see those ads, etc., subscribe for $5 or for free with an Amazon Prime. You know the whole, the spiel, okay?
Nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together.
I'm warning you
God
now.
bless you all.
My ads are not
May
long.
God protect
okay?
our troops.
They are the shortest ads
President
I
Biden.
could finagle. Okay. The only thing, honestly, the best response, Biden has to one up Trump. The only thing that he can do now is come out as bisexual. That's it. It would be a lock. It's the only thing that's going to save the campaign. Oh no. It is over. Oh no, it is over, boys.
America, what are we doing shooting each other for? I'm Baby Gronk. I'm the leader of this young generation. Donald Trump, with his ear bleeding out, that guy, he's a dog!
Oh, it's fucking over, boys. It's over. It's over. All right. Anyone else have something that they want to get off their chest? Share with the class? Links they want to send? Memes, even. Forgive me for being a little bit flippant about the whole situation, but genuinely, I mean, in the face of this, the only thing that we can really do is sit back and laugh. Like, make popcorn. Yeah, this one was good. Please be an apolitical schizo white man, white cishet man. Please be an apolitical schizo white cishet man. Oh, thank God. I'm sorry. Like, it might be uncouth to say, but thank God it's not a one of ours or whatever. You know. What was the guy that got Bozo Abe with the contraption? Why are our politics so boring? Biden should dump Kamala. Why? You have the floor. Sometimes people in chat just be saying shit. And replace her with AOC. I think that would be very foolish. It would be funny. Why not? Whoever's chat. Yeah, sure. I think if I remember correctly, Biden said that he's not going to drop out unless he saw specific data saying that he couldn't win and that Harris would. But, I mean, there already is that data. He's just kind of in a bunker with his blinders on. I'm not saying that I would like to vote for Harris either, but do you know how fucking to be a progressive is to choose pain and suffering, okay? Did you think that we would have anything nice? Absolutely not. I'm still going to fucking vote, unfortunately. I don't know why. I mean, Oregon is probably just going to go to Biden anyway, but to be a progressive is to choose pain. Let's be so for fucking real. I would rather try and build progressivism, socialism even, under not fascism. And boy, oh boy, given the events yesterday, it is becoming less and less likely. This is the politically advantageous thing to do. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you're so inclined, feel free to like and share the video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more. If you would like to join chat on stream, go pop on over to twitch.tv/CommieBravo. I hope to see you there.